Hi there, welcome to Prime Time. I'm Paul Orford and I'm back with Maria Meramveliotaki, the Forex therapist. And today's even bigger question, and before we keep going up the steps of large questions, massive questions, this one is universe-sized question. Do we have free will?
Okay. I think that there are a lot of things that we do not control in life, like how we are born, the parents we're born to, our gender, our genes. These are not things that we control in that sense. And obviously there are things happening that we are not causing, like the circumstances and the events of our life. So we have, though, the control we have is how to respond to everything that's happening to us. So, this thing is happening to me. How do I respond? Do I, treat it like with, I see how I can deal with it? Do I go and, be desperate about it? We have this kind of control, our response to the event rather than the events. So, in that sense, we have some control.
All right, so my version of free will, now you being Greek, you'll like this, but also you think I'm mad when I say it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite films when I was a kid, was one called Clash of the Titans. Now, I don't expect you to have seen this. What it was is like a cheap Hollywood film made in the 70s, and it's about ancient Greece.
Yeah.
So it was like Zeus and everyone, and they were basically moving the heroes around, and they had no free will, because they were controlled by outside agencies. So in this case, Zeus, Hercules, or whatever. So I'm not gone completely off tangent, but bear with me.
Okay.
If that's the case, what is will and what do I control? Like, for example, I understand that if I drive like an idiot, I'm going to crash and someone who's a passive person in their car wasn't responsible for that. So that is free will. They're not in control of their free will because, I was mad. So what do I control and what don't I control in a roundabout sort of way with me describing 70s films?
Yeah, look, I don't believe we are pawns, that we are actually controlled by a higher power like the Titans and whatever. Obviously, you can control certain aspects of your behavior. So yeah, if you get drunk and you go and drive and you kill someone, it is something that you did with your free will. But this is not an absolute thing either, because a lot of your personality is determined by genes. So if, and this is a very controversial kind of topic, so yes, maybe some people are more prone to depression or prone to having an addictive personality, but it's also the way they grow up, the environment they grow up. So it's nature and nurture, how we say that. But then I will ask you, what do you have control over? Do you have control over your genes or the way you grew up?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because when I was driving here, I had the radio on and this programme come on about Johnny Cash and an English MP. His surname's Cash, but I can't remember his first name. To cut a long story short, they were related to each other. Johnny Cash's family went over on the pilgrim ships in 1670 or something like that. And they went over. He went over to meet his daughter, because naturally he's dead. And they all look very similar, they said, like the whole Cash clan. So the DNA is all the same, 6'2", 6'3". They had very similar psychological makeup, a quick temper. And they said it didn't matter whether we're the English side or the American side. So if that's the case, then we're at the mercy of our DNA, surely. Like I'm at the mercy of some caveman DNA inside me, which I'm, there's nothing I can change. We may dress it up. We're just an ape with a good haircut, essentially, and we can't change what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, as I said, genes play a very big role, and also the environment where you grow up. So if you're growing up in an abusive environment, maybe your genes are perfect, but then you were not brought up in the right way. So in any case, you can improve and change the way things are for yourself. I mean, the way you respond to things. That's why I said about responding to things. But I do not believe in the omnipotence thing, that I am the sole controller of my life and I can do. Obviously, there are things happening, and you can choose your response. And I think. Okay.
See, that's not free will. We weren't in control of that.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. So that proves that we shoot this live.
It's a very good example, So yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, that we're not like an omnipotent force ourselves, where we're kind of.
Things you can control and things that you cannot. What you can basically control is how you behave and respond to things. That's your control. It's quite a good control. I mean, you can change a lot of things in your life with just that. But sometimes we struggle too much against the flow of life. We are very resistant and persistent. So it helps to often surrender sometimes, just things happening, and I will accept it, and I will keep improving, but I will not just push so hard against it.
Well, actually, this is the psychological experiment which I'm doing myself on you. I paid them €5 beforehand to walk in front to see your reactions. And you're doing very well so far. I mean, there's a few things I can pick you up on, but we'll let it go. So what I think the best thing to do is wrap it up there, because they're going to probably start bringing food and stuff through. So look, once again, thanks a lot, Maria.
Thank you so much.
And we'll all see you again soon. See ya. Goodbye to the waiter as well. See you later. Bye-bye.